you guys. Happy Tuesday. Trisha Turner here. This is Walk Away Wealthy, formerly known as Anything But Average. We are here every week at 12 o'clock on Tuesday Central Time to bring you positivity, ways to grow your business, ways to improve your life. And I have an awesome friend of mine here with me today who's going to help some of that. Cindy, welcome to the show.
Yay! Hi, Trisha. Nice to see you.
Super excited about this, you guys. So I've known Cindy for years, but you guys may not know her. So of course we need Cindy, you to tell us where you are in the world, what you do for a living, and how long you've been doing that, and what company you're with.
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I greatly appreciate the opportunity. So I am in the Dallas market. I've been in Dallas for, wow, I'm going to date myself, but 19 years now, and in real estate for 12 of the 19 years. So I have a team here, a small, I say a little boutique team, and we service the North Dallas area. So, you know, your beautiful Frisco, Plano, Carrollton, Little Elm. So all of North Dallas. So yeah, I've been here for quite some time, and I just, loving what I do.
I love that. And you guys, we met because of the American Dream TV show. Remember that, Cindy?
Dude, oh my gosh, I do. I remember that. I actually go back and watch some of those videos every now and again. It's like, man, how far we've come.
Isn't that crazy? How long were you on the show?
Yeah, so I was on the show for 2 years. So I
Hey.
actually just stopped this past year. I was kind of taking a year off of it just to kind of reflect and, venture into some different areas. But, it was fun. I really enjoyed it, met some great people.
Oh, heck yeah. It was awesome. And look, we ended up getting a relationship from it. And you guys, okay, so she's with us at EXP now, but you didn't start at EXP. So 12 years in real estate. Let's go back like when you started as that solo agent. Which company did you start with?
Yeah, so I started at Keller Williams, of course, as most of us do.
Yes.
And went there because of all the fabulous training and brand recognition. And I'd say probably 6 months into it, I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to do so much more, and I want to really venture off. So I only stayed there for about a year. So I capped in 3 months and enjoyed that 100%
Heck
commission
yeah.
for the rest of it, and ended up finding a smaller brokerage at the time. I went over to Fathom Realty, and was there for roughly, I guess, 8 years, and of course met you, Trisha, and was really excited to learn more about EXP. There was so much hype in the market about what they were doing, and I thought, what, I owed it to myself and to my team to certainly check it out.
Now, when you fast forward, like looking back, going from Keller Williams to Fathom, which are both two totally different business models, and then going into EXP, which is like a model unlike anything you've ever seen before. When you look back at when you started at Keller Williams versus like what you're doing today, are there bits and pieces that you think that have helped you get to where you are? Or has it been the last like 3 or so years that you've like catapulted into a whole different like dimension of your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, prior to even going into real estate, I was a director of enrollment for the University of Phoenix. So a lot of the skill sets that I learned, I had roughly like 120 enrollment counselors that worked with me. So it was a very sales, customer oriented environment. So a lot of what I learned from there, I transferred over to Keller Williams, and then going through their training program, I took a lot of different, pieces into what I do every single day. And that's just making sure I'm, taking care of our customers, putting our clients first. So a lot of those skill sets certainly transferred. And I'd say over the past, probably at least 6-7 years, every single year, I'm growing the business, exponentially. So I'm really excited. This has actually been my best year individually, although I do have a team, but this has been my best year individually. So I'm super proud of, where I started and now where I'm at. So
I love to hear that, by the way. Okay, so for you guys that don't know like different business models, so Fathom Realty, and it's crazy, Cindy, because like Fathom was all the rave like about
yeah,
a year and a half ago, and now you don't hear anything about them, or I
and
don't anyway, at all, not a peep.
yeah.
But for people that don't understand that business model, can you kind of walk the people through the difference in like a
Yeah.
business model of Keller Williams, Fathom, and then us at EXP?
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, so when I was at Fathom, I mean, they were really small. I mean, we only had in Dallas, I want to say 1,500 agents. They have grown some, of course, since then, but their business model was quite different. So, I mean, they really, um, you know, they focus a lot on the solo agent, not so much on the team. So one of the reasons that I was really attracted to EXP was because I wanted to grow my team, and EXP had a lot of resources and tools already available, and I felt like I was recreating so much. When I was at Fathom, and I found myself a little bit stressed out because I was like, what do I do? So, when I made that switch, I was able to partner with people like yourself, Trisha, and really soak up all the resources, so I didn't have to try to reinvent anything. So the business model, again, I think at some of the other brokerages I work with were really solo, so I really wanted to focus more on building a team and building partnerships across not just the state of Texas, but across the world. And so that's what I'm doing and what I'm focused on now.
So when you look at like how the market has changed, and so for you being in it for 12 years, you've went through some downturns, and of course now we're in a shifted market, and the media of course is blowing this up, and they're talking about the housing crash, which we don't believe we're in a housing crash. We're just in a shifted market. That's all. But going through all of this, are you seeing factors now that you saw when you first got into the market as far as like slowdowns and market changes?
Oh yes, certainly. So when I first started, it wasn't this hype that we've had the last, 3 or 4 years where, essentially you put a home on the market. And actually, anybody can put a home on the market and essentially get it sold. It wasn't like that at all. I mean, now, it's shifting, right? So we have to put in some different creative energy. You hear my dog actually barking. I love it. Sorry, I know we're live, and this is the beauty of having, the work from home. So hopefully he will actually settle down. So for everyone that's watching, I was making a joke to my husband. We're actually building a house, and we're building a studio for me. I said, I cannot wait, because this dog gets so excited when he sees a rabbit or a squirrel outside. So I apologize for everyone watching. So, hey, impromptu, gotta go.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, it's definitely, right now, we've got to be creative, and we have to, do things differently, because now we actually have to get out there and hustle and really, when you're listing a home, it's so important now that you're pricing the home correctly, and that you're going above and beyond to do the staging, and to, ensure that you're marketing the home, because now it's different. Again, when, I first started, we were doing some of these same concepts. And then again, in the last 4 years, I always say pretty much anybody could have essentially listed a home and had an offer within probably 24 hours. But we're certainly seeing that shift, and I'm actually excited about it.
Me too.
Serious.
So when you look back at like when you first started, and now of course you've grown a team, and you just told us that you're having your best year individually that you've ever had, which is awesome, because A, I didn't know that, and B, when in our market here in Houston, there's a lot of top producers that don't have anything in their pipeline, and they're struggling. And when they look at their numbers, like if they had projected they were going to do 12 or 13 million this year, they're not even, some of them aren't even halfway there. So I love that. What do you think that you've done differently this year that's pivoted your growth like this?
Yeah. So for me, a lot of it is the relationship piece. So going back, I know it sounds basic, and people that are watching this are going to be like, really, that's what she did? But I really gravitated towards social media. So this past year, I've created my YouTube channel, which I'm super excited about. I hired a coach, which I think makes a huge difference to me, because for a long time I felt like, I have all these great resources like yourself, but I was doing some things that I really didn't know what I was about to enter into. So social media has been a huge, through the YouTube, through my Facebook and Instagram. So doing a lot of videos, and then getting out there and really networking with the community. I think that's what's made a huge difference for me. 100% of my business this past year has been solely on referrals. So I've not paid for a single lead for myself personally. So it was, you know, a very huge accomplishment.
Yes.
Very proud of it. So yes.
You should be. Now, also, as far as like video goes, so I was just talking to our team yesterday and we did our sales meeting. I'm like, as we're moving forward into this market in the next 12 months, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be gone. You know, the projections were 600,000 agents are going to be gone. Now it's more closer to 1 million, which is fine. And it's a need. I saw you made a very similar post too, that agents that have been like top producers are leaving the market. What are you guys seeing there in Dallas? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, same thing. I think I just put out a post that, you know, 87% of realtors are exiting the business in their first 5 years. So right now, you're seeing a huge decline of agents that are newly licensed that are leaving. Unfortunately, I experienced it on my team. So, you know, I hired some newer agents this past 18 months. And in the last several months, I've had two of them that decided that they needed to find another job, you know, full time, because they're just not making the income that they thought they'd make. So it's a real thing. So I've been coaching my team that a lot of it has to do with your mindset.
Oh,
Right. Because if you go into this and you're, you know, all about, you know, the hype of, oh, yeah, we're about to go into this massive, you know, housing market recession and decline, you're already done. Like, I feel like if you go into it thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to win, you're not going to win.
no.
So I'm really working with them on their mindset and then also their activities that they're doing every single day to produce the right outcomes. So,
So can you walk us through that? Like, what are you encouraging them to be doing on a day-to-day basis?
yeah, so every single day I encourage them that they have to reach out to at least 5 people that they haven't spoken to in at least, you know, 3 months. So they're starting to forge more meaningful relationships and not just calling them to say, hey, you know, how you doing? How's the weather? But really engaging in conversations with them to find out like, what can I do to help you? Are
Yeah.
you in a situation where you're struggling? Because a lot of people out there are.
Yeah.
So, you know, having more of those conversations that show that we're coming from a place of compassion and concern and that we really want to help them. So I'm encouraging them every day to reach out again to at least 5 people. And then in addition to making those calls, it's also doing the social media posts. So I'm having them do short videos on their phone that they're texting to clients as well, because most people just send that quick text and it's like send and they're on their way.
Yep.
But I was like, hey, if you could create, you know, a 10 to 12-second short video text message and send that out, the chances that that person is actually going to watch that is far greater. And you'd be shocked, Trisha, how many people respond to those saying, wow, Cindy, wow, Donna, thank you so much for,
Yeah.
you know, reaching out to me and thinking of me. Yeah, things are crazy, but guess what? I'm almost there to buy my next home or my investment property. So that's been making a good difference. And again, going back to our mind shift. So,
Oh yeah. So when you look at the agents that are like using, because you're on video a lot, I see on
yes,
TikTok as well, right?
yes,
Oh yeah, and you're really good at it too. I love that. They tell you, and you and I were talking before we went live, because you guys, we go to a lot of events, we host a lot of events, we do a lot of things, but Cindy and I always am with her at the events, but she'd kind of taken a back seat
yeah,
to those. And I asked why. I was like, where have you been? I haven't seen you in like a year, I think it seems. And
it has.
Cindy, talk about that. Like, why did you take a step back? What were you doing?
Yeah, so you know, the beginning of the year, I went, you know, I saw you, Trisha, in Puerto Rico, and we attended an amazing event, and I, you know, took so much away from it to apply to myself and my YouTube channel, and I felt like I needed to refocus. You know, sometimes I think we have to be still to make things happen. And I needed to get into a different mind shift and into a different space. And although, you know, I love networking, I love collaborating with other agents across the country, I felt like it was something that I had to do for myself to grow both personally and professionally. And I truly think taking that time away from some of that, it did help me kind of refocus and recommit to doing some things, which was again going in, spending more time with my team, doing more coaching, and then also putting together my business plan to help me get through the year. So I feel like it was the wise decision. Now I will say next year I've already put on my calendar, there are some events that I'm attending because I have to get back into that reconnection, because I do feel like there's a lot of value in that. So I'd never say to stay away from that, but I had to kind of make a little shift myself personally.
So do you find it's funny that you say that because I literally on my drive to work this morning, I was thinking about I'm looking at my calendar and we get involved in so many different things and so many different coaching programs and we're expected to show up, right? And so when you look at your calendar, it's like, holy crap, like when is there any time during the day to actually do the work that I need to do, those high leverage activities? These are calls that I need to be on, but I'm not benefiting from it in any way. And it's like I think too many people get caught up in that in the busyness on their calendar, but they're not really in production. It's like,
Yeah.
this isn't helping me make any money.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you. I think we have to be careful on, being, like you said, busy, right,
Yeah.
on the calendar and really having some activities in place that will yield you some results. So for me, again, I guess I probably took a real aggressive approach. I think the beauty of it is we make decisions. Sometimes they're the right decisions, sometimes they're not maybe necessarily the right decisions, but that was the decision that I made personally. And I do feel like it helped me refocus and strengthen my business. And also, again, like I said, spend more time with my team because I love to travel. And sometimes into that travel mode and then you're like, oh my gosh, like I haven't met with my team in like a month. So.
Yeah. And when you look at now thinking back, here we are about to be in December. You said you're having your best year individually ever. Clearly, the decision that you made was the right decision because look what you've done.
Yeah.
And then who knew that? Because when you'd made that decision, we were in the throes of an insane market. Like it was, I told my agents yesterday, I'm like, that was a fake market. What we had for 2 years plus was fake. That's not real. And people that got into real estate during that market, they're probably going to be the ones that leave because now it's real and it's beyond real because the market completely shifted in June and it's like almost flipped upside down. And even like top economists are all saying, we knew there was a shift coming. We did not know it was going to be to this degree. But holy crap, we believe we're setting us up for an amazing 2023. But there's agents that are not going to be able to make it. They're not going to be able to sustain this. Yeah. And here you are like thriving. What do you think your secret to success is this year?
Yeah. So again, I think the secret is just refocusing, and then also putting a plan in place. Cause I knew things were good. Everyone was, you get to this height and something's probably going to change. So I was really trying to plan 6 months ahead, right? Because I knew things would change.
Yeah.
But what I'd say to anybody that's watching this is just make sure that you put a plan in place, right? So what are some of the things that you can do now to differentiate yourself? Because right now you've got to be creative. Yep. Because there's still agents out there that are getting deals, right? There's still houses hitting the market. There's still buyers that need to buy a home. So you've got to be creative, whether that's partnering with the right lenders as well. I think that's huge. I've partnered with some amazing lenders that can work with these buyers in a way to help buy down their rate. And then, hey, I tell them, hey, in 18 months or 24 months, guess what? Refinance. So you've got to be creative. You can't just go doing the same day-to-day stuff and think you're going to produce different results. So I think for me personally, really focusing on my channel, I've actually been receiving leads from it. People responding, people calling in saying, hey, I saw your video. Can you help me sell my house? So
I love that.
I would encourage anybody, if you're thinking about getting a YouTube channel, go for it. Jump into it. If you have any questions, they can certainly, reach out to me. I'd love to help you. Like I said, I did hire a business coach that's helping me with that platform. So I think that's been making a big difference.
So when you talk about business coaches, because of course there's a ton of them out there, you've got one that's strategically helping YouTube, or is it overall everything?
Yeah, strategically, he's helping me with YouTube and TikTok.
Okay.
So
you're amazing at it.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a work in progress for sure, because, you make some videos and you're like, oh my God, that was like the best video ever. And then you watch it and you look at it 3 days later, like, I've got 5 views. So it messes with your ego a little bit. And, but I'll tell you, you just got to keep doing them. That's the one thing that my coach is telling me, Cindy, you just need to post consistent content. And one of the great things with the YouTube now is the shorts, right? So go in there and record a 30-second short video, right? Because again, it's just being present. And so when people think of real estate, they're seeing this and they're thinking of you when it comes to buying and selling.
So when you talk, because a lot of people are going to listen to this, they're going to be like, yeah, but I don't know how to do this and I don't have a
Yeah.
studio. Walk us through, like, what are you doing to create your content? Like, do you have a big studio? Do you have a bunch of equipment? How does this work?
Well, this is my studio right now. So with my dog always barking in the background. So usually I have him outside, but you know, it is what it is. But no,
Yeah.
really, I'd say when you're first getting started, go basic, right? What I've been told is if you have a really good camera, so like this is the iPhone 14. I'm not trying to promote iPhone, but the camera on here is absolutely incredible. So what my guy was telling me is instead of purchasing, you know, $3,000-$4,000 camera, get the iPhone 14. He's like, the camera is literally almost equivalent to, you know, some of those high expensive cameras.
Okay.
And then get yourself some lighting. So, you know, I have a light that I actually connect to my phone
Okay.
that I turn on. So I have some additional lightings because lighting is key.
I
If
bet.
you're in the dark and you're trying to do videos, you're going to lose a big portion of your audience. So, you know, the lighting is super critical, and then also the sound quality. So I'd say if you're starting off new, just make sure you've got a really good phone, you have some additional lighting, and then go from there. You know, the mics are important. I know that a lot of different podcast people have the special mics. I do have those. I didn't use it for this, but you know, every now and again I will use that. But once you start getting some of the basics, then I would certainly say add some, you know, add some flair to it. So,
Yes.
yep. So I don't have a studio, like I said, yet, but next year at this time, I will actually have a studio that will be only for doing video content.
So when you think like that, like what kind of content are you creating?
Yeah.
Are you doing like homes? Are you doing your personal life? And how often are
Yes.
you shooting?
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm sorry I didn't answer your question.
That's okay.
Yes, so content is critical. You have to have content that is relevant to what it is what's going on right now, right? You don't want to talk about things from 2 years ago. So for me, I love to do a lot of reading. I love to go in and download audiobooks. So whenever I hear something that I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is completely relevant to what we're doing." I have my book and I'll actually show you so you see what I'm saying. It's true. So I take these little notebooks and I just write down ideas. So like this one, you know, I was talking, okay, so why realtors are quitting in 2022. So I went in there and then you can go into a system. It's called TubeBuddy to find out how that title ranks in the search world. So it'll say, hey, that's excellent. So it'll show all the millions of people that are searching for why realtors are quitting in 2022. So start there, right?
Okay.
So start there to find something that people are looking for. And then what I'll do, Trisha, is I'll just start watching some videos of other people that are in similar markets, sometimes totally different markets, and grab some of their content and then just kind of tweak it and make it my own. So that's what I've been doing. Also, you know, just getting different newspapers and magazines.
Yeah.
You know, I think anything that you can grab out of there and you can, you know, whether you're doing a blog or you're doing a short or, you know, reel or TikTok, whatever, just get out there and just do something. So for me personally, I spend 1 day a week. I take 8 hours. I literally lock myself in a room and I get content for the entire week. So
Wow.
I'm going to film. I'm trying to film usually all of it on 1, maybe 2 days.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to switch clothes because I'm like,
Yeah.
wants to see in the same outfit every single day.
Yes.
I'll have to do that. But I always do that personally because I feel like if I just go in and do one video today, one video tomorrow, I'm too ADD. I'm going to be all over the place. So I have a focus in mind and I'm like, this is my day that I'm going to shoot video. So
I love that.
this is my day that I'm going to actually go and do research on content.
Yeah.
So that's
And
what
then
I'm doing.
I love that. And then the videos that you're creating, what are you finding like the length works best, or
Yeah.
what are people most engaging with?
Yeah, so what I'm finding for myself personally is anything under 5 minutes, I've been getting really good views. I did experiment this on a couple of videos that were longer, one was like 10 minutes, the other one was closer to 15. And the number of views was very, very limited.
Okay.
So what my coach was telling me is until you really build your channel or your audience, when you do the long form videos that are over 5, 6 minutes, you're probably not going to capture as many people. So I'd say in the beginning, start small.
Okay.
So perhaps maybe that's 3 to 5 minutes on your videos. And again, a lot of people that do videos, whether it's, TikTok or YouTube, they say talk as long as you need to. As long as you're adding value and there's good content, there's really no magical formula on time. I'm just going to say from my experience, when you go over around 5 minutes, you do start to lose your audience.
So with you guys and building like everything you're doing, are you doing it just of yourself on the YouTube channel, or do you have your team creating their own, or do you have a team channel? How is that working?
Yeah, so right now I'm doing it just by myself. I do integrate my husband since he's a builder, so I do integrate him into some of the videos also, which surprisingly, I make jokes. I'm like, it's funny, you can see your demographics of your audience. I actually have more male viewers than female, but when I post him on, then I have more females that watch it. So I guess that's just how things work, right?
Yeah, I love that.
It really does. It's so true though. When I put him on, I increased my female viewership. So I was like, man, I need to get you on a few more videos.
When you
But
look
yeah,
back at like when you're with your real estate career, when you kind of like watch how your trajectory is going, would you ever have thought you'd have a YouTube channel and that you'd be going in like you're doing right now?
no, that was literally, if you would have asked me this question 18 months ago, I would have said, no way. Like, that is not my thing. I mean, I love doing short videos, but that really wasn't anything that I felt was a strength of mine. And I didn't really see any, I guess, benefit at the time. But, the more and more that I'm, watching other channels and I'm hearing stories and testimonials on how people are getting all these clients and, also with us at EXP, I'm able to connect with agents that are working for different brokerages that, are intrigued finding out what it is that we offer and how they can partner with me. So I think that's kind of a plus as well.
It's huge. And so let's talk about that a little bit. When you look at like, so for you guys that aren't paying attention to numbers, the real estate industry and the market has totally changed since June. And so across the board, title companies, lenders, real estate teams, all of us, our sales are down anywhere from 20 to 40%. So the economists project for 2023, we're still going to see a sales volume decrease in number of transactions by at least 20%.
Yes.
So when you look at that, like, okay, for us running teams, we got a lot of money that's going out. We can't have our sales volume decrease. However, we in the EXP world have been fortunate enough to be part of like this huge network of entrepreneurs, and they're life changers. Like, they're builders. We're all visionaries and builders. And so we create other streams of income. Warren Buffett says you got to have 3 to 5 in order to create wealth for your family. Over here, where we are, just alone this year, we've created, an additional 3. So we're working on
Yes.
7 to 10 on our end here.
I can believe that.
But you're doing it there too. And it's like, I look back now because I've been with EXP now 4 years, and it's like, it was one of the best business decisions of my life because it's opened up all these other doors. Talk about that a little bit. How has your life changed since joining EXP?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first year at EXP is when COVID hit. So I really didn't focus on it. We were kind of stuck in our little bubble. But then in the last 12 months, I've really, I love to watch and see all the success that everyone's having out there. And I thought, you know what, it's really just partnering and collaborating with the right people and having the mindset that you want to help agents, right? So there's a lot of agents that start, especially, thinking they're going to have this, fabulous mentor. And then they get, a month into the business and they're like, I'm on this island by myself.
Yep.
So I wanted to, I'd say really, Trisha, in the last 6 months, I've started focusing on that more. So really being intentional, having conversations, whether it's on my channel or doing a TikTok about why you want to partner with Cindy Joseph. I think, adding value. And again, I think the more that we focus on others and helping others, it's going to help us, right? It's like a win-win. So, the beauty of EXP is when you help others, you help yourself.
You do.
So, so I'm excited about the future. I'm not anywhere where I, want or need to be with that. So that is certainly on my radar for the next, year coming in 23. So I'm excited.
It's funny to hear you say that because I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's at an independent brokerage. He's kind of their sales manager and he's helping grow this independent brokerage. And I had this conversation with him. I said, I'm a broker. I had my own
Mhm.
independent brokerage too. Do you realize like what you're doing? You're not helping yourself because you don't own that company and that
Right.
company is just an independent entity. That's it. It's not going to grow your future. It's not going to create passive income for you. It can't. However, when you look at the market to where it is right now, it's like you're really doing a disservice to those agents by encouraging them to be there because there's so much more that they could be getting involved in to help them A, get through this hard time,
Yeah.
B, create other streams of income, and C, collaborate with people that are doing crazy things so that they learn. And I think when people hear that, because they don't think about it, they're just doing their day-to-day thing. This is what they do, this is the norm. It's like, hold on a second. Like you said, let's pause. Like sit still for a minute. Like this is not what you should be doing. There's a better way. There's a solution to this, you know?
I
And this market that we're in right now, it's like I don't want anybody to go out of business. I don't want anybody to starve and not have what they need, but it's going to happen.
yeah.
However, like you said, if we can help more people
Mhm.
not go there, then it comes back.
Yeah, I agree. I think, right now, if you look at the agents that are exiting the business, especially when, you look the ones that are under a year, right? If they don't have somebody that's there to help them get through these hard times, they're by themselves and it's stressful. It's, frustrating. Like I said, I did have some people on my team and, you try to work through this and help them see that light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes, I mean, it doesn't always click for everybody at the right time. But I think the more conversations that we have and we help people think outside that normal, real estate box, right? Because really what we're doing, and I always say this, because, people say, oh, y'all are just a bunch of recruiters. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh gosh.
I'm
I
like,
always hear
how
that.
I mean, isn't that what we all do in life? Is we're
Yeah.
trying to showcase the benefits and what it is and what's in it for them to join. I always make this joke. I'll just say this really quick. So when I was at my former broker, I was the number one recruiter, right? Because I was
Yeah.
talking to everybody about joining. So at the end of the year, we had this big, celebration, and they had an award. They called my name. I went up there, and they gave me a bottle of red wine. And I was like, I didn't know at the time. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, get some
Oh,
red, right? And now I'm like, oh my gosh, if I can just take that same passion and energy and understand what exactly it is that people need, it's like I said earlier, it's a win-win for everybody. I'm not pushing you into anything that you're not going to benefit from and you're not going to grow from. So,
it's crazy. Like I said it to someone the other day. There's an agent here, and he's got a little team too, and they're moving over with us. And some of his team members are reluctant because there's an 80-20 split, right? And there's
yeah,
a 16,000 cap. And I'm like, do you really hear that? I mean, think about that. Please think about that for a second, because I think about everything as a house. So think of that as a commission. So it's a 16,000 cap. Okay, woohoo, big
yeah.
deal. That's basically like two real estate transactions, maybe. And
Mhm.
if you think being partnered with us with all the coaching and systems and tools that we have is not going to help you sell two more houses in a year, you probably should get out of real estate.
That's right.
You just need to go. It's
No, it's true.
easy.
It's true. And for people too, like let's say, because I talk to people and they're like, well, I don't really want to be on a team. And I'm like, that's okay. So I'm like, let me talk to you about all the benefits. Because since I've been with EXP, this is, just hit my 2 year.
Yeah.
So I've icon both years. So if anybody's watching this, they have no idea what that means. So basically, once you hit your $16,000 cap and you do an additional 20 deals, now you become what's called an icon agent. So you have the opportunity to get that entire $16,000 back in stock.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, so really I haven't like paid anything in.
You're getting paid to be
Hello.
there. It's like you're earning money to be at EXP, helping grow the company and doing great things and changing lives. That's what we're doing. It's like we're changing lives.
For sure. And I think that's the when you say the mind shift, because if people don't get it, it's they've kind of turned that off again. So you got to help them uncover that, and really sometimes it's just writing it down and
Yeah.
going through their scenario and what the impact that is going to make for their family, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So, because I think for me personally, we get in that day-to-day hustle and grind because that's what we do and we're
Oh,
really
yeah.
good at it. But there's going to come a point in time where you may not be able to do that. So how
Yes.
else can you take care of your family? So
Yep. I love that. So to wrap this up, because I always like to give pointers, especially as we're heading into the end of 2022 and thinking of 2023. Now, all that you've been through this year, what are 3 things that you're either telling your team to focus on to make it through 2023 and grow, or new agents? What would you tell them?
yeah, so I'd say to get in as we're recap or finishing out 2022, moving into 2023. Number one, I'm telling my agents, and I say this all the time, is be creative / authentic, right? So go out and do you, like do the best, make the best version of you, right? Don't try and be someone else. Try to be yourself, because I think number one, if you're authentic and you're creative, you're going to build really good relationships. Number two, I'm telling my agents, and they don't always like to hear this, but I'm telling them you've got to pick up the phone. Every single day you have to be prospecting, because if you pick up the phone, you're having some intentional conversations. Conversations lead to appointments, right? Appointments lead to showings, lead to
Contract.
contracts,
Yes.
right? So you got to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
That's number two. And number three, and I talked a lot about this on here, but I think you have to go in. Again, there's a lot of millennials out there, especially, those that are looking to buy within that $300,000 to $400,000 price range. And you've got to be able to connect with them.
Yep.
How do you connect with them? Build yourself a channel. Again, if you don't want to do YouTube, start off maybe doing something with TikTok. Whatever you do, you can take all that content and put it on, Facebook, put it on, LinkedIn, put it on Instagram. So create some online presence and be intentional and interactive. So post things and ask questions, engage your audience. So those are the 3 things that I'm doing, that I'm talking to them about. I feel if they do that consistently every single day that they work, they're going to be successful. And also they're going to have me, coaching and helping them throughout the process. So
I love that. Okay, so on that note, so how can they find you, Cindy?
yes, so
Let's talk about your channel.
a lot of different ways, but right now I'm really trying to build that YouTube channel. So you can find me at Cindy Joseph. So just CindyJoseph. I always laugh because there's a Cindy Joseph on there that's a makeup lady. So whenever I give someone that channel, they're like, oh, do you do makeup? And I was like, no, I definitely don't do makeup. And then when they look at her profile, like, oh yeah, that's not you. So I have the at Cindy Joseph. So that's on my YouTube channel, or you can find me, of course, Cindy Joseph on Facebook. So,
and Instagram, right?
And Instagram is exactly. So I do all of them, and TikTok, Cindy Joseph. So I have all 4. I don't know if I always encourage doing all 4 at once, because it does tend to, be a lot of work. But again, I'm trying to work smart. So I do one post and I post it to all of them. So I just duplicate that across the board. So.
And it's working, y'all. You heard her say she's having her best year yet in a market that has shifted and people are not having their best year yet. So I love it. And I love your growth, and I love your energy and your passion for helping people. I'm so happy to be with you in life, period.
Thank you. I'm doing a little hard.
I love it.
I love you. I appreciate you. And thank
love
you
you too.
for allowing me to be on the show. And Merry Christmas. If I don't, I'm sure I'll talk to you, but if I don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Yeah, and to you too. And to you guys out there watching, y'all make sure pay attention to Cindy. Go like and subscribe to her YouTube channel. Learn from her. Reach out to her. She's going to help you. We're going into a weird time in the real estate world, but it doesn't have to be. Like, we're not scared. We're here to help.
That's right. That's the
better together, right?
You got it, girl.
Y'all have a great day.
Thanks. Bye, Trisha.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.